done from Harry here could actually stop people trusting charities altogether. His mother would...
Woman leveling these accusations. These two can no longer hide behind the race card. They can no longer hide behind the misogyny card. They have a woman who feels completely emboldened by what would seem to be facts from her point of view to say these things, not to People or Us Weekly, but to the Financial Times, to Sky News, against a couple.
Racism, misogyny, misogynoir, bullying, mismanagement. These are all the charges that have been made against Sentabale, established in 2006.
Why on earth would Prince Harry just walk away from the charity he himself created in memory of his late mother, Princess Diana? Think about it. This wasn't some side project. This was the one cause he swore was his life's mission. And yet, here we are, watching him toss it aside like it's nothing.
About these allegations is that they are now being litigated on the news by journalists.
Yes, the very same Harry who co-founded Sentabale back in 2006, pouring his heart into it as a tribute to Diana's legacy, has now stepped away. And let's be clear, this wasn't some graceful whispered goodbye. Oh no, his exit was abrupt, messy, and loud enough to send shockwaves through the charity world. This wasn't just a royal vanity project. This was supposed to be Harry's living link to Diana's compassion, her fight for vulnerable communities, and now shattered.
But Sophie Chandorka has issued a statement saying listen to this, there are people in this world who behave as though they are above the law.
For nearly 2 decades, Sentabale was Harry's pride, championing children in Lesotho and Botswana living with HIV. This was the cause he once vowed he'd never abandon. But in true shocking fashion, Harry has blindsided everyone with what insiders are calling an ego-fueled resignation. Supporters scrambling, donors stunned, the charity world left asking one question: what the hell happened to the prince who promised to carry Diana's torch forever?
The sad dismantling of a charity that has done magnificent work for 19 years, and we now have allegations being touted and
Whispers from inside circles, oh, they're scandalous. Talk of heated disagreements, pride-driven ultimatums, and Harry rebranding himself not as a servant to a cause, but as a brand to be managed. The official story? He's focusing on other commitments. Please, no one's buying that spin. This wasn't a handover, it was a storm out. And the wreckage? Sentabale, left scrambling in the aftermath.
And then play the victim card and use the very press they disdain to harm people who have the courage to challenge their conduct. She's talking about Harry there, isn't she? And
for those who've watched Harry evolve from a grieving teenager into a humanitarian, this isn't just a resignation. It's a betrayal in high definition. It's as if he's ripped up the most sacred promise he ever made, to honor Diana's work. The big question now isn't simply why he left, but what could have possibly pushed him to snap the one bond to his mother's mission that seemed untouchable.
in the press. Wholly inappropriate, totally vulgar, quite frankly. And what we need to be doing, actually, is focusing on those poor children who seem to be left in abeyance.
Paula, with respect.
Because let's not forget who Diana was. She didn't care about optics. She was the woman who walked through active landmine fields, who held AIDS patients' hands when the world recoiled, who touched the stigmatized when others turned away.
This row apparently centers on the fact that I think it was Dr. Chandorka wanted to move all the...
Sentabale wasn't just an organization. It was designed as a living embodiment of Diana's courage and compassion. Harry used to choke up when he spoke about how her trips to Africa shaped him, about how she believed love could tear down prejudice. He wasn't just her son, he was supposed to be her legacy in action.
...to Africa. Currently it's outside of Africa, and Harry and his fellow trustees did not want that. So basically this charity has fallen apart.
And yet now, that carefully cultivated image lies cracked. By abandoning Sentabale, Harry hasn't just exited a boardroom, he's shattered the narrative he himself built. Once the son who tirelessly carried Diana's torch, he's now the son who dropped it while it was still burning. The charity might continue, yes, but its sacred connection to Diana's memory, that can never be the same again.
Suddenly sensationally quit. So there goes one more raison d'etre in his life. One less thing for him to do. It just strikes me his life is getting emptier by the day. But what do you make of this charity?
And here's where the heartbreak cuts deepest. This wasn't just another charity. Sentabala was the charity, Diana's crown jewel in Harry's life. His dramatic exit doesn't just leave paperwork behind, it leaves a symbolic wound. Because if Harry can walk away from this, from the one cause closest to Diana's heart, what does that say about his loyalty to every other cause he waves his hands over?
Says is that she was basically pushed out of the way. You're watching them here. She's on the left, Meghan Markle on the right. And you see Meghan Markle ushering her over to get away.
Make no mistake, this wasn't about a lack of purpose. This was a choice, deliberate, final, and dripping with consequences. Remember the Harry we once knew? The prince who worked with humility, who championed causes quietly? Gone. In his place, a man far more obsessed with brand management.
Chaos, it's just on par for what we expect from Prince Harry today. I appreciate the fact that he is showing.
By walking away from Sentabali, Harry is making a very loud statement. His future won't be about grassroots impact. No, it'll be all about glossy media appearances, high-profile interviews, and headline-grabbing ventures. Quiet, tireless charity work in Africa doesn't fit his polished global image anymore. This wasn't just another career move. It was a total recalibration of his identity. Yes, on the surface, it's self-determination, but peel back the spin and you see what's really gone missing. Humility. Harry hasn't just closed a chapter. He's ripped a page out of the story we thought was unshakably true about him. And of course, we can't ignore Meghan Markle's shadow in all this. Ever since their marriage, her influence has been undeniable. She's pushed Harry to reinvent himself beyond the royals, carving out a brand new identity. And in that reinvention, well, Sentabali clearly didn't make the cut. Harry's attachment to Sentabali was always rooted in the past, a connection to his mother, to the boy who lost Diana and vowed to keep her flame alive. But Meghan, her eyes have always been fixed on the future. A shared brand, a global platform, visibility that screams, "Look at us." In that vision, every project must seamlessly align with the Sussex brand. And let's be honest, a small charity in Lesotho, no matter how impactful, doesn't deliver the glittering spotlight they now seem addicted to. Now, let's be crystal clear. This isn't about fault, it's about alignment. By cutting ties with Sentabal, Harry is sending a message that he and Meghan's energy will now funnel into projects that serve their bigger, shinier strategy. Maybe that works for them personally. But the cost? Oh, it's devastating. It severs the most visible emotional link to Diana's humanitarian work. And yes, insiders whisper Harry is devastated. This was his favorite charity. But devastation doesn't undo abandonment. And the backlash? Oh, it was instant and merciless. Within hours, social media was ablaze, supporters venting their rage and disappointment. For many, this wasn't just Harry resigning from a board. It was Harry abandoning a sacred trust. The very people who saw him as the modern echo of Diana's compassion now feel betrayed, blindsided, and furious. The visual of Harry walking away from Diana's legacy has proven impossible to defend. In today's world, actions scream louder than any carefully crafted statement, and Harry's choice has landed like a hammer blow on his credibility. And the outrage? It isn't confined to trolls or casual observers. No, it's longtime admirers, the ones who once praised him for cradling orphan children in Lesotho, for hugging the vulnerable, for being the people's prince. They're struggling now to reconcile that image with this new Harry, the one who has slammed the door on that chapter of his life. For Harry, reputation has always been his greatest currency. And this decision, it's a direct hit to the wallet of his credibility. And let's not forget, Harry's presence wasn't just symbolic. Sentabal thrived because of his name. The royal founder aura brought donors, global media coverage, endless fundraising. Without that connection, the charity faces an uphill climb, scrambling to prove that its mission is bigger than the man who once defined it. The leadership now has to work overtime to calm fears, reassure donors, and prove that Sentabali can stand tall without the royal star power that once fueled it. But the shadow of Harry's exit looms large, hanging over every conversation. And while the palace has kept its lips sealed, let's be real. This shift in narrative is exactly what they've been waiting for. For years, Harry positioned himself as the ultimate torchbearer of Diana's legacy, subtly suggesting no one else in the royal family measured up. But now, with one dramatic move, he's undercut his own claim. The royal family doesn't even have to lift a finger. Harry's choices are doing the work for them. His ability to hold the moral high ground in the ongoing public image war? Shattered. It's painful to remember that once Harry had something rare, a direct, raw connection with the public. He wasn't just another stiff royal. He laughed with strangers, hugged children, rolled up his sleeves in the dirt, and Sentabile embodied that spirit. Proof that he was different, that he could bridge privilege and purpose. Now walking away dismantles that entire image. It leaves people asking, was the Harry we admired ever real? Or was it just a phase, carefully packaged for as long as it suited him? Because the truth is, this decision feeds into an ugly perception that Harry's commitments are conditional, convenient, and tied to his media strategy, and once a reputation starts sliding that way, it's almost impossible to pull it back. And the comparisons to Diana? Brutal. She never abandoned her causes, not under public scrutiny, not under political pressure, not even under the crushing disapproval of the crown. Diana pressed on. She walked through minefields. She comforted AIDS patients at the height of fear. She never flinched. Harry's decision stands in sharp, damning contrast. No one forced him out. There was no danger, no royal gag order, no crisis. This was voluntary, a step away, by choice. And that choice stings. It paints him not as a man of resilience, but as a man of convenience. And let's not sugarcoat it. Walking away from Sentabile reshapes Harry's philanthropic reputation in ways he may not even realize yet. Charities, partners, global leaders, they watch patterns, they notice. And the signal Harry has sent is loud and clear. His loyalty is tied to relevance, not resilience. For Harry, the loss isn't just about a board title. It's the erosion of the very narrative that has protected his public image for years. Because without Sentabile, what's left of Diana's boy? The boy who once vowed never to let her legacy fade? Now it seems that boy has been replaced by a man chasing brand deals, curated interviews, Netflix documentaries, and media optics. And Diana's legacy? Left hanging, abandoned in the dust. This is bigger than a resignation. This is Harry torching the one bridge that tied him to Diana's enduring legacy. A choice that reeks of ego, screams of rebranding, and leaves the world wondering, if even his mother's memory wasn't enough to hold his loyalty, then what, if anything, is?